Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Alexander Isak Liverpool saga to end pretty quickly now after proving Eddie Howe right. Eddie Howe had high hopes for Alexander Isak to excel in the Premier League when he signed him 3 years ago, but the Swedish striker's impressive performances have led him to seek a move away from Newcastle. The forward has made no secret of his desire to leave Tyneside, with Liverpool currently leading the race for his signature. The current Premier League champions had a £110 million bid for the 25-year-old rejected several weeks ago, and a second offer is yet to be tabled. Despite this, Isak continues to train alone and has reportedly vowed never to play for the club again. Earlier this week, he broke his silence on the transfer saga, launching a blistering attack on the club's management over broken promises in a fiery statement. In response, Newcastle insisted they do not foresee any situation where Isak leaves, with Howe still holding out hope for a resolution with the striker. The Magpies boss brought Isak to St James Park in 2022 in a then-record £63 million deal for the club, confident that the striker would thrive in England. At the time, he stated, "He has pace, technical ability, dribbling ability. He's got a bit of the X factor about him. Alex is slightly different, and I think he's capable of scoring goals. He's technically very good and has a mix of qualities I really like in a forward player." For such a young player, he's had a lot of experiences thrown at him, playing for big clubs in Germany, with Borussia Dortmund, the Netherlands, Willem II, and Spain, Real Sociedad. The English game will suit his profile. He's a really good athlete with a host of things going for him, and his best years are ahead of him. He's a very exciting signing for us. Having netted 62 goals in 109 outings for the club, including delivering the crucial strike in the Carabao Cup final in March against Liverpool, whilst also firing the Magpies back into the Champions League, there's scant debate he has established himself as a success on Tyneside. However, the relationship between Isak and the club has deteriorated significantly and may now be beyond repair, reports chronicle Live. Despite this, Howe insisted this week ahead of Newcastle's encounter with Liverpool this coming Monday that a resolution concerning the player's future would materialize quickly. Speaking to journalists at Friday's press conference, Howe discussed Isak's situation before the transfer deadline on Monday, September 1st. The Newcastle manager said, "We love Alex in the sense of what he has done for this football club since he has been here, what he has contributed, what he has given, how professional he's been, and this has just been an unfortunate few months that looks like it is coming to an end. And it will come to an end pretty quickly, and then we can focus on the football again." Howe is preparing his squad for their first home game of the Premier League season, following last Saturday's goalless stalemate at Aston Villa. The forthcoming clash with Liverpool under the floodlights promises to be a thrilling encounter. On the other hand, Liverpool star faces big shock with Arne Slot under pressure. Arne Slot has been cautioned that expectations have reached unprecedented levels at Liverpool following a £300 million investment in strengthening a squad that swept to Premier League glory last term. The Reds' boss fellow Dutchman Wim Kieft, the ex-international frontman turned leading pundit in Holland, believes the pressure at Anfield will intensify further should Liverpool secure a £15 million swoop for Newcastle's Alexander Isak before the transfer window shuts. Liverpool have already secured Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong in the most ambitious recruitment drive in the club's history. Kieft remarked, "What Slot did at Liverpool in his first year deserves applause. I still think it is wrong to think that Slot's ideas and methods are head and shoulders above the visions of other managers. He has been pumping fresh blood in his team of champions with big money signings, and he had a decent team. If he now succeeds in getting Alexander Isak away from Newcastle, he would have a really great number of additions. It must be wonderful for Slot that he is allowed to spend, but bringing in all these big stars means a really big amount of responsibility for him now. It is clear now that this is no longer the team of Jurgen Klopp. It really is the team of Arne Slot, and that allows us to really judge Slot. If he does get Isak, he really will have some team on paper." Liverpool head to Newcastle on Monday evening, following a summer of pursuing the Swedish striker for Anfield. The Magpies have maintained that their forward will not be sold unless his full valuation is met, and Isak has frustrated the Toon army even more by declining to feature. The champions will need to handle a fiery St. James Park atmosphere alongside an Eddie Howe team that will be fired up by their boss ahead of kickoff. Liverpool began their title defense by defeating Bournemouth last week. However, it was a display riddled with defensive mistakes and kept questions whether all of Slot's new signings will thrive at Anfield. He added, "We all saw how it went with Erik ten Hag at Manchester United, when he found out that not every big status or big-name player can adapt to English football. Of course, Florian Wirtz is a fabulous player who will succeed. But Hugo Ekitike, who they took from Frankfurt, hasn't exactly scored an amount of goals before like Isak, has he? Players like him can get a big shock when they get to know the real ferocity of the Premier League." On the other hand, Oliver Glasner makes feelings clear as Ebereki Eze ditches Crystal Palace for Arsenal. Oliver Glasner wants Crystal Palace supporters to take inspiration from his approach by channeling their disappointment to inject fresh energy into his squad. The FA Cup-winning manager has admitted that external pressures have affected his mindset in recent weeks. However, he has now drawn a line under those distractions ahead of today's explosive encounter with Nottingham Forest, who recently secured Palace's Europa League place following a heated legal battle in the CAS courtroom. Glasner said after losing Ebereki Eze to Arsenal in a £67.5 million deal, "I had to reset my mind because sometimes you lose your focus of what's really important. It's also important that our fans switch instead of shouting against somebody, shout for us. This is what we need. This is what this group deserves." I remember during the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Aston Villa, there were 40,000 supporters shouting for us. It gives us strength. You never get energy when somebody wishes somebody else bad things. You get energy when somebody supports you and says, "Well done. Excellent. Come on. Keep going." But if you say, "This is S********", it doesn't help you and you don't get confidence from this either. This is what our fans are doing and must continue to do. They're our 12th man. Look beyond the setback of their UEFA appeal rejection, star player Eze's departure and the absence of significant summer signings, and Crystal Palace's campaign has begun promisingly. After securing their second trophy in a mere 4 months by narrowly defeating Liverpool in the Community Shield, and drawing with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge before triumphing in their first-ever European match against Fredrikstad, Glasner couldn't be prouder of his squad's performance. He stated, "When you're influenced by all the noise around, you're not fair when you're judging games. That's why I recently said, no, I'm not going to accept it anymore from myself, because then I can't do my own job in my best way. I'm emotional, I have to make many decisions and you're always best making them on a rational basis rather than an emotional one. Our start has been what the players deserve. They wanted a better result on Thursday and thought we could have scored more goals. It's also important for me not to be influenced by all the outside noise because then I'm in a bad mood. It's also unfair on the players and this group. They deserve appreciation and praise because they're doing so well for Crystal Palace. Not just in these 3 games but in the whole season. For defeats in 2025, so it's over months. This is the core group that's responsible for the club's success. They're always available and always giving 100% for Crystal Palace." Steve Parish has only managed to secure 2 summer signings for Glasner thus far. Backup goalkeeper Walter Benitez and Borna Sosa, who put on an impressive display on Thursday. In contrast, Nottingham Forest has been busy in the transfer market, securing 4 top signings in just 1 week with the additions of Omari Hutchinson, James McAtee, Arnaud Calamuendo and Douglas Luiz. However, Glasner remained tight-lipped about the stark difference in the 2 clubs' summer activities, stating, "I can't talk about Nottingham. We haven't done this so far. Let's see what will happen before the deadline." Tottenham, pushing for £60 million transfer, in response to brutal Ebereki Eze snub. Tottenham are accelerating plans to sign Manchester City winger Cinho, according to reports, and are willing to pay over £60 million to land the Brazilian. Spurs and Thomas Frank beat City 2-0 on Saturday and are now trying to pinch one of Pep Guardiola's stars from the Etihad. Cinho has not been in the squad for City's first 2 Premier League games of the season, with Guardiola citing injury as the reason for his absence. But the 21-year-old remains the subject of concrete talks between both English heavyweights. That's according to TalkSport, who claim that Spurs are still trying to sign Cinho following negotiations this weekend. They are willing to pay upwards of £60 million, having failed to land Eberechi, who turned them down for local rivals Arsenal in a £67.5 million deal. Cinho is willing to leave City for Spurs, but Guardiola's outfit has blocked the move all summer over fears that they may regret the decision due to the player's high potential. They have informed Spurs that an offer of upwards of £69 million will need to be made for them to reconsider their position. After defeat on Saturday, Guardiola admitted that he was unsure about the future of Cinho, along just several City stars linked away with moves such as Nathan Ake and Ederson. To be honest, I don't know what is happening with a few players. I don't know who is coming, who is staying, who is leaving, I don't know, said Guardiola. All the clubs I had the feeling that it is the same, we are not an exception. Because the agents make the roles, the club have their opinions, the players have theirs, and after that we see what happens. The Daily Mail claimed that alongside Cinho, Spurs hold an interest in West Ham star Lucas Paqueta, Monaco's Magnus Akliush and Leicester midfielder El Bilal Khanis, as they seek a playmaker following failed pursuits of Ease and Morgan Gibbs-White. After beating City, Frank confirmed that he is targeting more additions to his squad, especially with James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski expecting to miss extended portions of the season. We have a strong squad that I believe a lot in, Frank told TNT Sports. We would like to add a bit, but only if it can strengthen the squad. We are looking to add in and hopefully succeed. I know the club is working very hard. I trust them. He later added, I think it's extremely important that a couple of things that we understand we have a good group of players, a talented group players, a group of good quality players that I'm very pleased with. So that's why we brought in 2 good players to help. Can we improve it? Perfect. If we can't, then we have very good players and we just showed that today. Thanks for watching. Like and comment and subscribe.